Hello, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Rane. I started collecting plants over a year ago. I started documenting my plant journey almost a year ago. I do have about 120 houseplants right now, and out of those 120, 30 of them are Hoya. Hoya plants have turned out to be my favorite genus of plants. I have exactly 30 different species. I actually have clones of some of them, so I do have more than 30 individual plants, and I will be showing you every single Hoya plant that I have, even the clones. And I am kind of going to be ranking my Hoya. I put them into different categories, and I was able to put them into 6 different categories based on how I feel towards the plant. And it's not necessarily about how great the plant is, but just kind of like the stage that it is in right now. After an entire year of having Hoya and taking care of them, I want to say that they are all, so far, all of the species have been easy to take care of, except for maybe the shooting star. That one, I had one and I killed it somehow. I don't know if it was user error or if it was the plant itself, but I'm going to say that almost every single Hoya that I have ever had has been easy to take care of. I have lost a few here and there, but I think most of them were user error. Because in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. I probably overwatered a couple of them because I went on vacation, and I probably shouldn't have given them as much water as I did. But at this point, I have learned that Hoya can handle drought. So I personally, I let all my Hoya go completely dry, like 100% dry before I water them again. And even though I do live in a desert, we have very dry air out here, and still my Hoyas do just fine. So my ranking system is not based on care, and I'll go ahead and tell you what the different groups are that I separated them out into. And I'm going to start with the good Hoya. This is the group here that made it into the good group. I do have a best group, which of course I'm saving the best for last. So that'll be at the end of this video. And I will put timestamps down below. So if you don't feel like going through every single Hoya that I have, and you just want to see the ones that I consider to be the best in my collection right now, you can go ahead and go to the timestamp. After I show you my good Hoya, I'm going to go to the next category, which is the almost good. And I'll explain that when I get to it. After that, I'm going to show you my Hoya that are either on the mend or they could use a little extra help. And it's not the Hoya's fault, it's my fault. I just have a lot of plants and I haven't gotten around to taking care of all of them as best as I should, but they are hanging in there and I will get to it eventually. After that group, I have the kind of boring. The foliage maybe is not so beautiful. They also might be just not in the best stage of life right now. So I'm sure that these plants, they're definitely going to change over time. They're going to fill out, they're going to mature. And the blooms, I don't know, maybe the blooms can make or break a Hoya. But anyways, after the kind of boring group, I have the worst group, the worst Hoya of my collection. And I don't think it's the Hoya's fault. Again, maybe it's pests, maybe it was user error. I think we all have worse plants in our collections when you have a lot of plants. And then I hope you will enjoy the best Hoya that I have in my collection. So I don't really have these ranked in order because I kind of feel equally about these, and that's why I put them into groupings. But I'll start with my Pandorata. This is one of my favorite Hoya plants, but because it's still a baby, I didn't put it into the best category. I think that once it fills out, this will be one of my best Hoya just because it is so unique. I love the leaves, the shape. I mean, it reminds me of bamboo. And this here is the mother plant. It has been through a lot. I am surprised that it is still alive. I have put this thing through some trials and tribulations because it was one of the very first plants I ever got at the beginning of my plant journey. I had 0 green thumb, okay, when I first started. And there it is, hanging in there like a champ. But this was a cutting that I took from this and it got a fresh start. I had it in the cabinet for a while and it's doing wonderfully. It's got one deformed leaf, which I love because it looks like a mustache, like a handlebar mustache. But This one's doing much better than the mother, but the mother is now putting out some new vines, which is really good, and some new leaves. And maybe, should I show you guys some close-ups of these? Let's see, I might put some close-ups in after I talk about them a little bit. And because I think it's really fun to look at the leaves up close. Okay, I decided to give you guys close-ups after all. I think in order to make this a better video for you, I had to do this extra step, even though it's going to take much longer. But I think it's going to be worth it in the end. So here is that curly leaf that I was talking about. Like, it reminds me of a handlebar mustache. Isn't that cute? But this is my Pandarata. So my next one here is the Engleriana. And this is another very unique Hoya to me. The leaves are so small. But this plant is a hardy plant. It goes dry, like it can handle serious drought for a long time. I forget to water this thing, like it needs to be watered right now. The leaves don't brown, they don't wilt, like I haven't seen it wrinkle. Maybe if I let it go dry enough, long enough, they will start to wrinkle. I don't want to take it that far. I'm gonna water it after I finish this video. But I have also propagated this one. So this is the propagation, and you can see that it is much longer than the mother plant already. And that's because I had it in the cabinet. Humidity does matter. I do believe that most Hoya enjoy being in higher humidity and they will grow better. But they still do fine in my dry air. And this is a single plant, but it's got 2 vines. This one also is a single plant, and it is shooting out a brand new vine. Yay. And I am going to take another cutting. I want to put these together in the same pot. I want my Hoyas to fill out and look more mature and bushier. So I'm probably going to cut off where I took this propagation and just have like a backup. I want to have backups, like tiny propagations in my cabinet of all my Hoya eventually. Here's my Engleriana. I'll try to get it as close as I can since the leaves are so tiny. So you can get a really good look at the shape of the leaves and also the back. So that's the top of the leaf. And then the back has like a different color. Like it really looks like the back. So these leaves totally have a front and back. I guess they all do. But here's the other vine. I think this is the one that I had propagated from. Sorry if it's blurry there. And this one's popping out some new leaves. And here is the propagated vine. And I just really had to show you the brand new vine that it's pushing out. Right there with even some leaves, a pair of leaves. How close I can get it. I'm so curious like as to what that yellow thing is right there. My next Hoya is the Retusa. And this one is another unique one. It reminds me of pine needles. They're stuck together. It doesn't want to let go. So I started with a single plant and I did a propagation. The mother plant I sold because it was in soil and I didn't feel like messing with it. I don't like soil. It makes me sneeze and I think it's like really dirty. I don't like getting sand all over my house accidentally. I much prefer to use pond. So whenever I do my propagations, I put them into pond usually. So both of these are cuttings from the mother plant and they're both in pond. And they have both lived, this one currently lives in the cabinet. It has filled out so much since it's been in there. It's got a super long tendril right now. This one was also in the cabinet for a while and it filled out while it was in there. And now I have this out in my ambient conditions. But I would love to put these together also in a single container. I think that's gonna look so nice. And this is gonna get really close to being in the best category soon. Here is my Retusa. Let's see if I can get my camera to focus on these skinny, needle-like leaves. Just like pine trees. It's so cool. See how close I can get it because these leaves do have lobes on the end. They're kind of like heart-shaped at the very tip. So I don't know if you can see that on some of them. It is so cute. And it's interesting how there's like a bunch of pears growing out of a single node. And I don't know if it's like a vine coming out or if it's like all like different pairs of leaves. That is so cool though. And I think there is a curly one on here. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, see that curly little leaf? It's so funny when that happens. There's the very tip. So far, no peduncle. I looked at the footage and I thought you couldn't really see the lobes. And I think it's really important to see it because I think it's so cute. But here's a big one where you can like really see. So now you can see my fingerprints also. But isn't that cute? You can also see like tiny aerial roots right there. I think that's like the cutest thing. Here's also a closer look at the curly one. Okay, my next one is the sunrise. I'm a little bit out of breath. I had to run upstairs because I forgot to bring the mother plant. The mother plant is still in soil. This is the cutting, and this was in the cabinet for a while. So of course it exploded in growth while it was in the cabinet. And it does now have a new vine popping out right there. You can't see it probably from there, but maybe I'll give you a close-up. And as you can see, the cutting is much longer than the mother. Is it? Almost, yeah, a little bit longer. It's just the humidity really helps them. This one I have right next to a grow light, so it does have a little bit of sun stressing on it. They do look beautiful when they get sun stressed. This one is not getting as much light, so it's just green. But the foliage I think is very beautiful. It's very shiny. It's a beautiful color. And I can't wait to see what it looks like when it matures, and hopefully I get to see some blooms. Bloom for me. Here is my sunrise, and you can really see the shine on the leaves. And I love the curves. It's like indented here in the very middle, and they kind of curve out and then back in on the edge. And it makes the leaf more interesting in my opinion. And the color is just a really pretty green. And I wanted to show you also the new vine that it's pushing out right here. See if I can focus in. There. You can see the budding of the pair of leaves, I think. Here's the mother plant, and I just wanted you to see the sun stress or the light stress from the grow light over there. So it's kind of like a purpley color. I think I've seen other Hoyas sunrise that turn more pink, but I'm not sure. Mine are kind of purpley. And this needs to be watered. I can feel it soft. I'm going to do that right now. While I was watering it, I noticed this tiny new leaf right here. And it is so dark. It is like almost black. And it's so cute. And this tendril here also. The stem is like really dark. Next up is my Hoya Mathilde. And I think it's a Mathilde splash. I don't know if there's a regular Mathilde. I've got 3 plants in here. This one is pretty green. This one has a lot more splash than the others. This started off as a baby. They all 3 were very small, tiny, tiny babies. And I kept it in low light for a really long time, and that's why they haven't really grown that much after like almost a year of having it. But I got it because I wanted it to be a low light plant. I might give it a little bit more light. Maybe I should take a cutting and see how it does with the humidity in my cabinet. But this is one of my favorite Hoya. It's just not in the best category because it's still really small. I saved some of my more mature plants for the best category because it's always more striking the larger the plant is. But also the foliage matters. The coin-shaped leaves on these are just so cute. Here is my Mathilde. And as you can see, there are 3 different plants in here. I got this at a really good price. The seller is awesome. She's one of my favorite sellers. These are the leaves with the most splash. See how close I can get before it starts getting blurred. And then this vine seems to have like more just like plain green leaves, which is fine. I love them all. But the button shape really does make this plant so cute. All right, so here is, I think it's called Bertonier. I'm probably going to be putting the scientific names on screen for all of these, but the leaves are so soft and fuzzy, and it's really fun to pet them. But this is a really cool plant. This is one of my favorites of all. And I think this made it to my best of 2025 list. If you saw that video, or if you didn't, take a look at it. Give that a watch. My best plants of 2025. And it did not make it into my best Hoya grouping just because it's not like totally filled out yet. If this was more mature, for sure, it would make it in my best Hoya category. Like I said, it's not about the plant itself, the species. I think they're all easy to take care of. Most of them look really beautiful. Some of them are more boring. But the stage in life of the plant was one of the main determining factors for me. Here's my Bretonii, however you say that. And it feels a little soft. I might need to water this guy. Yeah, it feels kind of light. I wish I could show you the fuzziness, but you can't really see the fuzziness, but the feeling is awesome. I totally recommend this plant. It is so much fun. And it gets the most beautiful sun stressing. Like usually it's more pink than this, but I currently don't have any pink ones to show you right now. But there is a new pair of leaves coming out right there. And it has a little bit of sun stress, but all these white specks that you see on here, that's from my insecticidal spray. I guess it left some residue because of the fuzziness. Like it really stands out. And I don't know how to wash it off. I might be able to just use water. I just haven't tried yet. But here's also the back, and the fuzziness is on the front and the back of the leaves. All right, the last one. I think this is Hoyatii. Like I said, I'll put the scientific name up on the screen. I got this at the very beginning of my journey, so some of the plants, I've forgotten their names by now. And anyways, when I first bought this, it was called something else because I got it from PW, Proven Winners, and they give their plants different names, like trademark names or something. But the actual species name, someone identified it for me, so I'll look at that up and I'll put it on screen. But this is really beautiful because it does get sun stressed, and when it does, it's like the most beautiful pink ever. It is so pretty. So this is a very like shiny, glossy type of leaf, and the variegation is very beautiful on this. And same as the other plants, if it was more mature, this would definitely make it in my best group. But even the stems are pink, and that is extremely beautiful. I can see why this company wanted to trademark the name on this. But yeah, it is also very easy to take care of, just like all of them are. It can totally handle drought for a long time. Like the soil will shrivel up into a hard rock and shrink, and still it lives on. I have not seen this wrinkle. I haven't lost any leaves, no browning leaves or anything. Wonderful plant. Here is my Hoyatii, and I hope that the color is showing through on camera. It is so pretty. And I'm making ceramic pots for all of my plants. I hope I can find a color just like this for my pots, because that is so pretty, so pretty. And the variegation on the rest of the leaves are really cool also. Like it would also be fun to make a pot like these colors, like this almost white, light green, yellowish green, and this darker green on the outside. I think that would be so lovely. And this also has the same residue as the last plant. But here's the stem that I was talking about earlier and how it's coming out pink from the sun stress. This actually does get a lot of morning sunlight, like mottled direct sunlight. So far I don't see any peduncles. So that was all of my good Hoya. I'm gonna go on to the next grouping now. So I need to run around my house, put these all back, and then bring all of the next category here. Be right back. Whew, I just got to work out. Running all over my house. I did a switcheroo. So this is now the next 3 categories. And I've got my handy dandy list over here. So we are now on the almost good category. And I think I'll start with my Croniana Black, which is in the chair over there, because I want to put it away. I don't know if it has spider mites or not. It had some yellowing leaves on it, and it might just be from being too dry too long. So I feel like the Croniana plants, or I think they're also called lacunosa. I think they might be the same. If you let those go too dry too long, I think the leaves do yellow and they fall away. So let me show you really quick what it looks like and why I decided to choose it for this category. So that's what that looks like. It almost made it to good because it is a little bit more full, but the vines are like really fat compared to the leaf size. And I'm not sure what that's all about. And it does have yellowing leaves on there. And it's even got some like yellow spots, like spotting things happening in the leaves, some of them. It looks kind of sick. So I want it to be good. Like I love the blackness of it, of the vines. I think that's really cool. And I think it kind of has like a black margin, but it just doesn't look that healthy. And it might be my fault, or it might be the spider mites. I really don't know. But I've been treating it kind of. I spray it with my insecticidal spray every now and then. I did give it a shower a couple times, but that's what that's looking at like right now. Here is what I think is Croniana Black. It was not labeled when I bought it. I kind of just guessed from looking at pictures online, but you can see how dark some of the leaves are. Here is a new pair, and they're like almost black. This does not get a lot of direct sunlight, so this is not from like sun stressing, like that's just the color of the plant. And you can see the yellowing leaves there. I have let this plant go dry a little bit like too long at times. So maybe I made it more susceptible to spider mites, even though I've never seen webs on it. So I have no idea if it has it or not, but you can see the residue from my spray on here, just in case they're there. But look how pretty the leaves are. Like I really love how dark they are. There's another new one. So, I mean, it kind of is a steady grower, and I can't wait to see it mature. But just like my other lacunosa or Croniana Splash, the leaves do yellow like that. So it makes the plant look ugly if I let it go dry too long. So, my bad. The next one I want to start with is the Fitchii. And this one made it to almost good because it's just a single vine. It started off maybe as 2 leaves. I think I got it as a 2-leaf cutting, and it has grown a lot, but it just looks incomplete. And also, this almost made it to my boring category because the leaves are like, they do have some subtle veining happening on them, which makes it more interesting. But I'm like not that excited about this plant, but I feel like I could be. So it just made it to the almost category. What do you guys think? And here's the Fitchii. I'll try to get you real close so you can see the venation. So that's why it didn't go into the boring category. There's like some interesting things happening there. And then it is like a shiny, kind of shiny, hard feeling leaf. Like it kind of feels like plastic on both sides. So there's no fuzziness on the underside like some Hoyas have. And there's the vine. It's just a Hoya. There's, I think, the newest leaf. So it's a little bit lighter green than the older ones. What do you think? Do you think this is a good Hoya or a boring one? Okay, I'm gonna do my compacta next. I have this in a different category, a lesser category, but I decided just right now to upgrade it to the almost category because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and it is cute as a button. But that's why it's in the almost category, is because it is so tiny. It kind of looks like a cactus. Like it's just like a little curly wad of a plant. I think when it grows out, it's going to be amazing. So it's like almost in the good category. And if it was totally filled out, I'm sure it would be in the best category. And I don't know how people get these plants to like fill out that much. I've had this for I think almost a year, and that's all I got. And I even have it in the cabinet. So I could tell that it has grown since I've gotten it. It was even smaller than this, maybe even like half the size. And it is so curly that I cannot even tell how many leaves it has. It's such a cool plant. And I do believe this is like the outer variegated one. It's got the white margin. It's an extremely interesting plant. And I dread the day that this thing gets pests, like mealybugs or something like that. I hope it doesn't. There's my cute little compacta. And you can see all the swirls. Guess how many leaves there are? I wouldn't be able to tell you if you are correct because I do not know. But it's very, very interesting. Like I said, it's a very fun plant to look at. I can't wait for it to get bigger. Super close up. And you can see residue in there also. This is in my cabinet, and I was doing pest preventative on all the plants in there because I had spider mites. Next up, I choose the Finlaysonii. And this, oh, it's so interesting. Look at that huge leaf right there. It's very long, and it has interesting veining, and it's kind of like bumpy, the leaves. And this looks kind of dusty. I'm gonna have to dust this off. It has grown a new vine, and the new vine is green and kind of bendable. At the very bottom though, the vine is like woody, has like a woody stem. It's very interesting to me. I love when the Hoya get that like woody stem look. I think this started out as 3 leaves, a 3-leaf propagation when I bought it. And so now it has 2 new leaves and a new vine. But this needs to fill out more in order for it to make it to the good category. Because even though it has humongous leaves, it just looks, again, like unfinished. Here's my Finlaysonii. And the leaves are all facing upward. I don't want to tilt it too much because I'll spill my pond. But okay, this one's kind of curved over. You can see the veination and the bumpiness of the leaf. And it does have a little bit of variegation, some spottiness. This leaf here reminds me of the Callistophylla a little bit. And you can see the woody stem part right there. Let me zoom in. And it looks like there is a new vine growing out. Yay! A 3rd vine. There's some 2 tiny new leaves there. This is the newest leaf. And it is shiny and hard and smooth on top, but it does feel a little bit fuzzy on bottom. Let's see if I can show you the back. There. There's the tip. No peduncle. Okay, so now I'm going to do my Nova Ghost. And this made it to the almost good category because the leaf color is absolutely stunning. Wow. Especially these 2 last ones right here. That is so beautiful. It's like pastel-y. And the reason why it's almost good is because this is a save. I saved it because the original mother plant was having some severe issues. So I propagated it. I think there's 3 propagations in here. One of them is a single leaf, and it actually rooted in there, which they can do that. I've heard that it will never grow into a full plant from a single leaf, but one of my community members had 2-leaf propagations from Hoya plants that both started growing new tissue, like stems or leaves or whatever. So maybe it's possible. Maybe if you wait long enough, it might turn into an actual plant. So I'm gonna wait and see what happens with the single leaf. But I'm gonna wait for this to grow out some more, and then it'll make it to the good category, hopefully. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. My pretty Nova Ghosts. Look at this. My favorite leaves. This might be my favorite one right here of the whole plant. See how close I can get it. It looks kind of gray, part of it, like a pinkish gray. How cool is that? And then this one also is really pale. So pretty. This one, I don't know, is that like a mintiness? This one is super pale. And I feel like it's kind of fuzzy on the bottom. This feels a little bit soft. I might need to water it. There's a curly one right there. And then I'll show you the leaf propagation there. And it's definitely rooted. It's secure in the pond. So I'll just wait and see if it ever grows any new growth from anywhere. I just pulled this inner pot out and notice that the roots are coming out the bottom. I should probably repot this, and actually I just need to hurry up and make my ceramic pots so I can do that. Okay, so the last plant of this group, the almost good group, is the latifolia. And it is because also it just looks incomplete. I bought this as, I think it was a 2-leaf cutting maybe. It has grown a lot. The leaves, the original leaves, have grown out more, and I've got longer tendril, and this amazing leaf came out like neon. When it first came out, it was like a bright neon yellow. So cool. And it's kept some of that color still a little bit, but the leaves are absolutely beautiful. I think this is the elbow, outer variegated, and it is so pretty. I love the leaves so much. It's got interesting bumps and venation. I just can't wait for it to grow out some more. There she is. See this leaf? It's pretty big, and it's got that like almost neon color here also on this margin. It was much brighter and more neon when this leaf came out, and I'm so curious about that. Has anyone ever seen that happen? It's like it was so neon. It was very cool though. Like I see this, like the venation and the bumpiness. It's really neat. And this also kind of feels leathery, I guess. It's very smooth on both sides. There, I've heard some people say they have problems with this plant. So far I have not. I let it go dry and stay dry even. Like the pond that it's in is completely dry right now, and I think it's been dry for a while. But I'm going to give it some water right now. The leaves don't feel soft at all, but I'll go ahead and give it a drink. I don't see any peduncles yet. And then the backs. This poor leaf is getting beat up by the plastic. I need to hurry up and make all of my pots. And this is what it looks like. When I first bought the cutting, the plant was very sad looking. It looked like, I don't know, maybe it used to have pest issues, but not anymore. I mean, not under my care. I haven't seen any pests at all. It has grown a lot since I've gotten it. I love it. All right, the next category, and I hope I don't run out of time. I have to go to work in a bit. I hope I can get all of these categories done before I leave. If not, I'll have to do this in 2 different segments. But the next category is on the mend or could use a little help. And I only have 3 plants in this category. I'm going to start with the Curtisii, but I need to get the mother plant over here. And I kept it over there because I'll tell you in a second. All right, so here's my original Curtisii. And it grew a mushroom out of the bottom of the pot. You might have seen that if you've been following me for a while. It was a real full-grown mushroom, like a fruiting body that grew out of the bottom of the pot because I had it in a closed container. I made it into a self-watering thing because it had a wick. It still has a wick in there that it came originally with the pot. So I just put it on top of another pot with water. And back then I was trying to figure out ways that I could keep the soil wet longer so I wouldn't have to do as much watering. And it was working, but it also encouraged fungus to grow. So if I can find the footage of that, you're gonna see it. But I'm gonna put this back right now because I'm like totally grossed out by that. I'm pretty sure there's still mycelium growing in here. It's like waiting for the opportune moment to grow some more fruiting bodies. So I'm gonna go put it back. So here's the cutting that I took of that mother plant, and it's not doing too well right now. It was doing great for a while, but I really honestly do not know what happened. I don't know if I underwatered it or overwatered it, but this seems like a Hoya that can be affected by droughts or overwatering more easily than the other Hoya. So there are some yellowing leaves on both of the plants. Could be either over or underwatering. Maybe under, because that's what I do usually. But this plant needs help. I'm gonna have to propagate this again. Okay, so here is my propagated Curtisii. I attempted to save the mother plant by propagating it because I didn't know if I was going to lose that one or not. And the propagation, this one was doing really well for the longest time. Like it grew very long. But then suddenly, I don't know what happened. It started getting yellowing leaves that fell off. And it just doesn't seem that healthy right now. It doesn't seem like it's deeply rooted. There's some nice healthy aerial roots on here because this has been living in the cabinet. Originally, this is how long it was. So it has grown a lot, but it needs to be saved right now. Let me see how close I can get you so you can see the shape of the leaves and the variegation. They're very cute. They kind of remind me of like stingrays or something. Next up is my Louisa Silver. This was the original propagation that I had gotten. It was much smaller and it was dormant for the longest time. Finally, now it has a long tendril growing. I absolutely hate the soil that it's in. I really need to change it out, but I've been waiting for my cuttings to grow out first because I don't want to risk losing the mother plant. It's comfortable in there, I guess, now. Here is one of the cuttings of my Louisa Silver that I propagated. It's got the very beautiful pale coloring, and there's a bunch of leaves all on this one vine. Here's another cutting that lost some leaves, and this is the last one on this vine. And for some reason, it's got the woody stem. It might be caused from a little bit of stress. There's the back of the leaf. Here's the mother plant, and it's got the most beautiful leaves. I'm so proud of this long vine, and I do believe this is like a lacunosa also. So similar to my Croniana / lacunosa. And I can always tell when this needs to be watered because this one leaf right here gets wrinkly. You can see the wrinkles in there. I just watered it yesterday. It takes time for it to plump back up. And then the last plant of this group is my Insularis, and the mother plant has died. It was suffering from mold issues. That one was in a self-watering thing also. It had, I think, a cotton wick in it. When I bought it, it was like that, and then I think it just caused kind of like some white fungus to grow on it. And the plant was definitely suffering from it. So I took cuttings, and I'm so glad that I did because I lost the mother, but these are doing okay. I've got this in the cabinet, and they were propagations. I'm sure they have roots by now. And I do see some new leaves growing, so that's a good sign. So this one's on the mend. Here is what is left of my Insularis. So this one is on the mend. These are propagations. And I am sure that it has already rooted. They're very secure in the pond. So I only have a few leaves left. I've got this in my cabinet, and there are some new leaves coming out. So that is a very good sign. I think I might be able to save this. So our next category is the kind of boring category. And I'm going to start with my no ID Hoya, which I don't have here with me. It's got a really long stick as a trellis, and it's kind of leaning against my wall. So I'm just going to have to cut that in for you so you can see what it looks like. There's my no ID Hoya plant. And I've got it climbing up the stick there. I think it's on, like, just like resting on the stick by itself. Like I don't have anything attaching it. And that is the newest leaf right there. Sorry, it's kind of a dark corner. So this plant does do okay in low light. Let me see if I can get a close-up of the leaves. And I mean, there's some venation going on there if you look really closely. But I mean, it's just not like that remarkable to me. They are kind of large though. So if you see it compared to my hand, like the leaves are pretty big. And I kind of wonder if they would get bigger if they had more humidity. I'm just now noticing that there are like tiny specks. It looks kind of like the freckles Hoya. So that's interesting. If anyone knows what this Hoya is, if you're able to identify it for me, I would love that so much. There's a pair of leaves that I guess it's brand new. I hope they grow out. It is kind of a minimal looking plant right now, and I do like the aesthetics of it in a way with the tendril climbing up the stick like this. The foliage is just a little bit plain. My next one is the Hoya morellii, which kind of reminds me of my no ID Hoya because the leaves are so similar. It does have a tiny bit of venation, not as much as the Fidgii, but it's like not really that noticeable. And the leaves, I don't know, they're kind of boring. Like they don't really have an interesting shape to them. Like the sunrise, okay, so those leaves are a little bit plain, but at least it has some kind of shape to it. Like it's hard to describe. They're kind of like, they've got something interesting going on with the shape of their leaves, and they're shiny and bright colored. These are just really plain. So I can't wait for it to grow out. I'm sure it will be nice when it's like a large, luscious plant, and I can't wait to see the blooms, but there we go. Here's a closer look so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Do you see what I mean? It's just like, there's nothing remarkable about the shape or the color or the venation. It's like, kind of matte. Yeah, I guess it's kind of matte. This one has more shine to it. I don't know. It's just there. It does have the woody stem, which I love. That's always interesting to me. The new tendril, though, is green. There's some tiny leaves that look like they're trying to come out. But the rest of the vine doesn't have any leaves. It's pretty long. So there it is. The next one in this category is my verticillata. And even though this is a little bit larger, I mean, I think it's one plant with maybe 2 vines, and there's a lot of leaves on there, but also the leaves are kind of plain on this one. To me, in my eyes, it's like not the most interesting Hoya that I have. There's a little bit of 3D action going on some of the leaves, but for the most part, it's just a dark green leaf that's kind of like oval shaped. Has a little point on the tip, but it has grown a lot since I got it though, so I am happy about that. But yeah, what do you guys think? My verticillata, maybe this plant does not deserve to be in this category. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, the dark green is a very beautiful green. So these are hard like plastic. They're smooth on both sides. At least it does have some kind of shape, like it tapers at the end. And it grows faster than the morellii. This was much smaller when I first got it. And I got it after the morellii, I think. So it seems to be a faster grower. But I don't know, how would you rate this Hoya? The last plant in this category is my freckles. And the freckles are cute, but I don't know. It just doesn't scream at me like, I'm so cute or I'm so interesting. I don't know. It's a smaller plant, so it's not fully established yet. Maybe I'll like it more once it's more fully grown out. Like, I don't know, the leaf shape just looks like a regular leaf shape. The color is all right. I mean, it looks like a leaf green color. And really the freckles are pretty cute. I just don't have a lot of them on there, and I don't know if that's normal or not, but I don't know. My freckles probably doesn't deserve to be in this category. I mean, the leaf is kind of interesting. And the shape is cute. And definitely the freckles are cute too. I just think I wanted to fill out more. And once it has grown out with more leaves, I'll probably upgrade it to a better category. This is a cute leaf right here. But at the moment, it's just small and, I don't know, just a little bit boring to me. Okay, so now we've got two categories left, the worst and the best. So I'm gonna have to clear this space out and do another switcheroo, so I'll be back in a second. A few of these guys are screaming for water right now. So let me just give them a little drink real quick. Okay, my worst plants. Luckily, I only have two. This is the second to worst plant, Hoya, that I have in my collection right now. Not because of the species itself, because of me. I did something wrong apparently that almost killed this plant, and I actually do not know if it's still alive. The leaf is still very, very green. It is still very, very attached. The stem is not as green as it used to be. And I don't see like healthy white roots in there or anything. Actually, they look green. So honestly, I do not know if this plant is going to make it. Wait, did I say what it is? Globulosa. I love this plant so much. It has the most beautiful leaves, the globulosa. I feel like I have to have it in my collection. I just don't know if this is going to come back to me or not. I've had other Hoya that I had to save from propagation that I did at the exact same time as this, and those came back, like my Nova Ghost. But this one I have not seen any changes except for the fact that it lost its green on the stem. This part of the stem is totally dead. It feels like dried wood. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to throw it away just yet, just because the leaf is so green. I feel like there might be some kind of tiny hope. So we'll see how that goes. My globulosa. This was one of my favorite Hoya, one of my favorite plants of all. You see how glossy that leaf is? And the color is so beautiful. And it's like faceted. The leaf looks faceted like a jewel. And I think that's part of what makes it so beautiful. This plant used to have so many other leaves. And I ruined it. These are the roots that I just kind of left out. I probably should have covered them, but I think I had run out of pon. Well, wish us luck. I hope it comes back. Okay, the worst Hoya in my collection is a very sad story because this Hoya used to be my best. In my previous videos, this Hoya was listed as my best Hoya, maybe even one of my best plants. But something happened and I don't really know what. I thought that it had gotten spider mites, so I tried to treat it for the spider mites, and then I kept losing leaves, and now I don't know if it was spider mites at all. It could be a mold problem because it is in a self-watering setup, so I do have a cotton wick at the bottom. I'll give it a lot of water in the cache, like lots of water, so that I don't have to water it too often, because it isn't in a part of my house where I don't really spend a lot of time. So it is quite possible that there is some mold on the cotton wick, maybe in the soil, maybe that's what's affecting the plant. And I should have done a propagation much earlier, but I kind of just didn't. I might still try to, and I don't even know if it's possible to save the plant at this point. This one also might be dead. Okay, I'm just like blabbing on and on. Let me show you what it is. It is my hybrid, the one I always forget the name of it. I don't think it has its own name. It's just a hybrid of two different plants. I think one of them is pubicalix, but I'll put the scientific name on the screen for you. And this was one of my most favorite Hoya because I put it on this really long trellis, 8-foot long piece of stick that I found in my backyard. And it was climbing up, it was coiling around the stick all by itself. And it shot up, like it grew so long, lots of leaves. It was doing so well for so long. And I don't know if it's because of the season, because it's winter, or if it was the spider mites, or if it's mold. Like I honestly just do not know. But I think it kind of just like hurt me so much that I didn't want to like deal with the plant. So I kind of just left it there and it's just withering away. And I should have propagated it a long time ago. So I will get to it eventually. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow morning for part of my plant chores video because that's going to come up next week. But this one has made it now from the best to the worst Hoya that I have. Okay, no more sad stories. On to the last section, my best Hoya. And as you can see, I am holding my Crimson Queen right here. And you've probably seen this many times in my previous videos if you have been following me. This is always on the top of the list for best plant or whatever. This is a great one because it is more established. When I got it, it might have been maybe to here with its longest tendril. And now look at that, so nice. And of course, the foliage is always very beautiful with the Crimson Queen. The colors are awesome. It does get sun stressed if it gets enough sunlight. And it gets this very nice like purpley pink color on the leaves. And when I first got it, one of the white leaves was actually like a pastel pink, and that's why I got it. I picked this one. And I love how the tendril is like kind of wavy here. Curlicue, is that what you call it? It's so pretty, such a beautiful plant. And I really hope that this will flower for me one day. It has not yet. My Crimson Queen, such beautiful leaves. I love the white margin, the outer variegation. And then some of the leaves are like totally elbow. And when they're really young, if they get enough sun stress, they are pink. You can see a little bit of pink on the stem there. It's very pretty. And I love it when it has like a little bit of green like that. Here's some tiny babies. So you can see it's a very interesting leaf just by itself. And then as a whole, it's just magnificent. This is a magnificent plant. And I almost forgot to show you the baby. This is a propagation that I took from the mother plant that you just saw. This is all residue, just preventative to make sure the spider mites don't get to it. But it is climbing up this trellis that I made for it. And it has reached all the way to the top. It started way down, somewhere down here, I think. It has grown a lot. The baby's growing up. The next one I'm going to do is my Hoya australis Lisa. And this one has the most beautiful foliage, probably of all of the Hoya. I mean, the patterns on the leaves, like each one is like a painting. So, so pretty. And they do get beautiful pink sun stressing. I've got this under a grow light right now, but the grow light is kind of weak. My light meter actually reads it as low light. So when I had this in my window, it was getting a little bit of direct sunlight. It was getting the most beautiful pink sun stress. But now that it's under the grow light, it doesn't have that. So I'm considering moving this back to its original position because I want to see that pink on the leaves. And I do have a little propagation of this one. And I actually had done another propagation, which I gave away to my sister-in-law. But this is definitely one of the most beautiful Hoya that I have. And this is a little like a bushier, like more upright plant. And that makes it a little bit different, which I love. My australis Lisa, the most beautiful leaves. It's very shiny, very smooth. The underside also feels smooth. And there is a brand new leaf coming out, which I did not notice yesterday. So today is the following day. I'm doing all these close-ups, but look, it is getting some light stress. Let me zoom in. So cute. The next one I want to do is my Croniana Splash. I think that's what it is. It's either that or Lacunosa, or maybe it's the same. Lacunosa, Croniana might be the same plant, but this one is the only Hoya that has ever flowered for me. And there is a peduncle right here that is starting to bloom. I don't know if it's gonna fully open up. It's a really tiny one. It looks like it might be a brand new one, so it probably won't open up all the way, but it has given me several blooms over and over, and they smell so good. And it's just one of my more full, mature plants, so this one has made it into the best grouping. And it's interesting, I think you can tell kind of like the age of a peduncle, it seems like, because this one is really long. I wonder if this, like, the rings get longer and longer each time it blooms. I'm so curious about that. Have you guys heard anything like that? Here is my Lacunosa slash Croniana. I had read on a website once that if the leaves are kind of like heart-shaped like this, they call it Croniana. But if they are longer like this, it's called Lacunosa. But this plant has both. So I've also read that they are both one in the same plant. So I call this both Croniana and Lacunosa. Here is one of the bigger leaves. And I let this go dry too long. I shouldn't do that. I love how it has a lot of vines coming out. And let me find a peduncle for you, because this does have some. There's a tiny one right there. Looks like a brand new one. This one may not flower. I think the first time the peduncles start to open, they don't necessarily flower all the way. And here's another bigger one, if I can get it untangled. Right there, it's got only a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiny little beads. And these are not fragrant at this stage because they're not fully open yet. These are like buds. And I love how they're like a parasol, like an umbrella. But you can see my yellowing leaves on there because I just need to water it more. But this one, I did take some cuttings because it had a super silver strand. One super silver strand, and it started going bad. So I collected it really quick and propagated them. So let me put this down so I can show you. So here's one of them, and it has grown a lot more since I propagated it, and it's keeping its super silveriness. I don't know that I can necessarily call it super silver. I think that might be a separate like cultivar, but I mean, it kind of looks like one. Here's the other one. This one's a lot smaller because this one dries out faster. This is in self-watering, which I need to change really quick before I grow another mushroom. But the leaves are beautiful on this, very, very pretty. And I'm so glad that I saved it by propagation. And this has grown quite quickly. Here is one of my super silver strand propagations. So you can see like how much silver is on most of these leaves. It is so pretty. So I hope that it stays that way and continues to grow out like that. This one leaf right here has a lot of dark green, but it looks really pretty though. And here's some more strands. So I don't think I can call this super silver because I think there is that cultivar out there, but maybe I can. All right, I can't decide which one to show you next. I'm kind of going in order now towards like my most favorite. That's hard to pick like my most favorite. Sheesh, it's really hard to choose between these last ones, but I think I'll start with the Polyneura. So these last ones, they might be like equal in like favoritism. So I've got 3 different species of Polyneura. I have the inner variegated. This one here is a propagation, it's a backup, and it's doing quite well. It's living in the cabinet right now, because it is my backup. The mother plant, I think it's over there. Let me get it. I ran out of space on the table, so it was on the chair way over there. But here's the mother plant, and it's doing pretty good. It's just a single strand right now. I'm waiting for a new one to pop out any moment, I hope. It's in this really, really tiny cup, so it dries out pretty quickly. I need to repot this, put it in some pond. Since I do have a backup, I should do that pretty soon, but I need to make a pot for it. If you noticed, a lot of my plants are in ugly plastic. I am working on making ceramic pots for all of my plants, but it's taking time. So that's the inner variegated. I also have the outer variegated, the elbow. Beautiful leaves, wow. My Polyneura inner variegated. So pretty. I used to not like yellow leaves, but now I love them. I think it makes the plant very vibrant, and I mean, it's just happy. Yellow is a happy color. The stems on these are yellow. I hope that's normal. And this is a single plant. It used to have 2 vines, but I cut this one off and propagated that. So that one's in the cabinet. I don't think you need to see that because it looks exactly the same. It's just shorter. These are pretty here. It's a much lighter color. Stunning plant. I can't wait to see it grow out even more. Here is my outer variegated, the elbow, and wow, these leaves are gorgeous. Unfortunately, this plant does have an active spider mite infestation, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the plant, even the littlest. Like, I see no signs of spider mite damage on any of the leaves, but the spider mites do seem to love, I think I see some webs right now, yes I do. They seem to love the tree fern fiber, which is in here, and the plastic cup. There's space here, about 3/4 of an inch maybe, and they keep weaving their webs within the plastic there. I don't know what they're feeding off of, but they're just having a good old time. And I've been spraying them with my insecticidal spray every time I see the webs come back. But I really need to get rid of the tree fern fiber. I'm probably never going to use that again because I think it kind of likes to breed mold. And now I see the spider mites really like living above it, maybe even within it. So I do need to take a clipping of this. This is a single plant, but it has 2 vines. I need to do a backup propagation of this, and then I will take this out and repot it into pond. And hopefully the pond will help to prevent spider mite infestations wanting to grow in the substrate. The elbow, my Polyneura elbow. Look, this is one of my favorite leaves of all time. Look at that point. Very beautiful variegation. There's the other side of the pear. So pretty. And you cannot see the spider mites. I know they're in there, but they are microscopic, so you can't see them. But I don't see any damage on the leaves. Hopefully, let's go in closer. Sometimes I just can't see with my eyes. So I don't know if those spots are spider mite damage. Are they eating the leaves? I have no idea, but I've been spraying it. Every time I see the webs come back, I spray it down. So I'm going to definitely have to get a propagation of this plant as a backup, just in case. Here is my Polyneura green. So it's just the regular Polyneura, plain green leaves, but that doesn't mean that they are plain. I absolutely love the shape of these leaves. I love how when you do a propagation with only 2 leaves, that it looks like a mermaid's tail. The shape, how they taper at the end very severely into this like very sharp point, it makes them so pretty. And this also has veination that makes it more interesting as well. And I do have 2 plants in here. I just repotted it. There's 2 vines on 1 plant, but it's starting to fill out. So when I first got this, I do believe it was a 2-leaf cutting, and that turned into this. So I will also get a backup cutting of this, except I don't really know where I'm going to cut it. I really don't want to cut it, but I need a backup. So there, one of my favorites. My Polyneura green. This is my most full Polyneura. This now has 3 strands, and
Wow, I'm loving this so much. And it's doing well since I potted up into one of my handmade ceramic pots. The pond feels dry. I might need to give this a little bit of water. You can see the leaves here up close. So pointy at the end. And very beautiful details on the leaves.
I think I only have 2 plants left. Wow, we're getting to the end of the video. And it's so difficult to decide between the last 2 which one I wanted to show you first. I think I'll just do the sigillata's because it's smaller. This is one of the most interesting because of the foliage. I love how it turns a little bit purple when it gets sun stressed. The leaf shape is interesting. The patterns on the leaves, like I guess you would call it variegation. And I love how it feels. It's like a matte and it feels like cardboard kind of. But this started out as a propagation and it was very, very sad. I thought I was going to lose the plant and look what it has turned into. I do need to propagate this also for a backup, but I also do not want to cut this up. I am afraid that there might be a peduncle growing and I'm going to ruin it and I'm not going to get any blooms, but I do need a backup. It would be awesome if it grew another vine. I don't think I see one. If I do, I'm definitely gonna propagate one of the vines, but wow. Absolutely love this plant. This will live in my heart forever.
My sigillatus is quickly turning into one of my favorite plants of all time. This thing is amazing to me. Look at that brand new leaf. It's got the purple tinge. These are very matte and cardboard-like. It feels soft. I think I gave it some water yesterday. Oh, look at that. The variegation on there is so interesting. And I can't tell if there's a fuzziness. Maybe it might be a little bit fuzzy on the top, the surface, and maybe the bottom too. But it's definitely very matte. And I love how it has climbed around in the spiral of the trellis there. Got a spiraling trellis. It looks so pretty like that. And here's the back. So the backs are just plain looking. That's a leaf, but it's got the pretty purple, the vein. So cool. Long tendril, reaching out for something.
My very last Hoya of the video, and I don't even know the name of it. I call this my wavy Hoya. Let me pull it out for you. It is a more established plant. It has not given me any peduncles or blooms yet, but look at how beautiful this is. And it just gives me like this, I don't know, cottagecore, kind of like woodland feel, and I love that so much. I am so in love with this plant. This lives in my kitchen, so I get to see it every day, and it just brings me so much joy. It is absolutely gorgeous. And I do have a backup cutting of this, which you saw earlier. It's in the same tub as my Angleriana and my other Lucia Silver, but I am probably letting this go a little dry too long. The ends here are turning kind of brown, so I should probably water it more often, but it's doing pretty good though.
My wavy Hoya is so cascading. I love this so much, and I really wish I knew what species it was. Okay, so here's a close-up. It kind of looks like Hoya TI. This almost has a black margin. They're not all dark like that. Like these here. Actually, maybe they do all have kind of that black margin. But some of the leaves are more wavy than others. And I love that look so much. And these leaves seem like they're kind of matte, but some of them, like the newer ones, will have like a sheen like that. So this leaf here looks like a Hoya TI leaf, but then this one is like super wavy. So I don't know if Hoya TIs do that, if they wave like that sometimes. but this is very pretty. So far, I don't see any peduncles anywhere. I hope it does flower for me one day. That might help me to identify the Hoya species.
So what do you think? Which one of the Hoyas was your favorite? And do you have a favorite in your collection? I would love to hear which species that is for you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to join my free plant community online, you can visit Cozy Plants on SKOOL. We would love to have you. Also, if you would like to join my mailing list for my ceramic pots, I will be starting a mailing list and I will let you guys know when I put together my very first drop. Right now, I am giving my community members first dibs on my plant pots and my other ceramic items. But you can go ahead and visit my Instagram page. It's brand new, so you're not going to see much there yet. But I'm going to be working on it. And I think you can join my mailing list on there. So thank you, have a great day, and enjoy your plants.